Most people stumble through life with their heads down, scared shitless about what others are thinking. That's the cold, hard truth. We're so damn worried about fitting in, about being liked, that we forget who the hell we are. Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. I don't give a flying fuck what you think about me. Not a single one. You see me out here grinding harder than anyone else, pushing limits that make most people piss their pants, and talking my truth every damn day. This is me, raw and unfiltered. Find out who the fuck you are. Embrace every damn piece of it. And if someone doesn't like it, tell them to shove it where the sun doesn't shine. I spent years trapped in my own head, drowning in the bullshit opinions of others. I thought everyone had their lives together, that they were all better than me, so I hid my true self behind a wall of insecurity and doubt. But everyone's messed up. Every single person you meet is fighting their own ugly battles. They've just gotten real good at hiding their scars. Once I realized that, once I saw through the facade, I took back my power. I owned my story, my pain, my struggles, and I stopped letting other people's fucked up perspectives dictate my life. Their judgments don't define you unless you let them. We let the narratives of others script our lives, and that's a goddamn tragedy. I remember walking into that Navy SEAL recruiter's office weighing 297 pounds. The guy looked me up and down and basically laughed in my face. Told me there was no way in hell I could make it, especially since only 35 African Americans had ever done it before me. There have been countless times when my body was broken, my mind screaming for me to quit. Mile 150 in a 200-mile race, knees buckling, vision blurring, every part of me begging to stop. But then that what if creeps back in. What if I keep going? What if I push past this pain and discover something about myself that I never knew existed? That question ignites a spark, brings life back into my weary soul, and propels me forward when everything else is telling me to surrender. It's in those darkest moments that you find your true strength, that you redefine your own limits. The world is filled with naysayers and dream killers, people projecting their own fears and failures onto you because they can't fathom reaching for something greater themselves. They'll tell you to slow down, to be realistic, to stay in your lane. Fuck that noise. Their limitations are not your reality. The biggest obstacle you'll ever face is not the mountain ahead, but the bullshit voices around and inside you telling you that you can't. Cut those strings, silence those voices, and become the master of your own destiny. The only thing standing between you and greatness is the bullshit story you keep telling yourself and the ones you let others tell you. Rewrite that story. Own every damn chapter and go unleash hell on every goal you've ever set. So get out there and do the work. Embrace the suck, face the pain, and push through every barrier. Not for anyone else, but for you. Prove to yourself that you are capable of the impossible, that you can rise above every doubt and every hater. The path to greatness is lonely, it's painful, and it's damn sure not easy, but it's worth every drop of sweat and every ounce of effort. Stop living in the shadows of others' opinions and step into the light of your own potential. Stay hard, stay focused, and never let anyone tell you who the fuck you can or cannot be. This world, man, is full of puppet masters. People who thrive on finding your weaknesses, pulling your strings, and fucking with your mind. They love to control you, to own space in your head, rent-free. But you want to cut those strings? You want to break free from that bullshit. You got to build something inside yourself that no one can touch: self-respect, self-esteem, self-discipline. That's the armor you need to walk this world on your own 2 feet, going where the hell you want to go. Stay hard ain't just about hitting the gym, lifting weights, or running marathons. Nah, stay hard is about going beyond your limits, stepping into that pain, and proving to yourself that you can push further. That's where self-respect is born. That's where you build the kind of self-esteem that no one can tear down. When I started talking to myself differently, when I got all that noise out of my head, that's when I transformed. I went from being this insecure, stuttering kid who thought he was worthless to a man who could crush any obstacle in his path. I took control of my mind, and in doing that, I took control of my life. And let me tell you something, when you reach that point where you truly don't give a fuck about what others think, you become dangerous. Not reckless, not careless, but dangerous. Because now you're operating on your own terms. You're not worried about how you walk, how you talk, how you dress, or where you're going. You're not held back by the opinions of others. And yeah, with success comes more haters. They're going to come out of the woodwork trying to tear you down. But don't let them get to you. Let them fuel you. Store their bullshit in that mental Rolodex. And when you're facing a challenge, pull that shit out. Remember every damn time someone said you couldn't do something, that you weren't good enough, fast enough, smart enough. Let their doubts light a fire under your ass and drive you forward. Don't waste your time trying to kill them with kindness. Fuck that. torture them with your success. In this life, you got to keep pushing, keep grinding, no matter what. Take everything this world throws at you, every insult, every doubt, every obstacle, and turn it into fuel. That's how you stay hard. You know, when I was growing up, I didn't want to tell anyone I want to join the military. I was scared of what my black friends would think, scared of what others would say. So I held back, kept that dream buried deep inside. But that's the worst kind of prison, when you let other people shackle your mind. When I saw that military uniform, I knew there was honor in wearing it. But I let fear hold me back. That's what happens when you let others dictate your life, when you let them chain you down with their opinions. But no more. I broke those chains, and now I walk my own path with my head held high and my mind locked in. You can do the same. Stop giving a damn about what others think and start living for yourself. Build that respect, that discipline, and let nothing stand in your way. Stay hard, stay focused, and keep pushing no matter what. This world doesn't give a damn about you. You got to take what's yours. When I first got this crazy ass idea that I wanted to be in the military, not just the military, but special ops. But to make it in special ops, you got to know how to swim. Now, I didn't grow up around no damn pool, so I was clueless. I grabbed this how to book on swimming thinking it'd be easy. First page said easy float, so I took my ass to the pool, tried to float, and bam, sank straight to the bottom like a fucking rock. That's when I realized I'm negative buoyant as hell. Like trying to make a damn brick float. Every time I failed, my old man's voice crept into my head, telling me I ain't shit, telling me I'd never be good enough. All that crap he used to spit to break me down, make me feel less than human. But here's the thing, the more I refused to quit, the more I kept pushing, the more self-respect I started to gain. Every time I got back up, every time I dragged my ass out of that water, I was taking back my power. It wasn't his voice in my head anymore, it was mine. And that's when I knew the power was all mine. In this life, there's one thing you got to understand: people are going to try to dehumanize you. They're going to tear you down, try to strip away your dignity. But it's up to you to find that self-respect, to hold on to your pride no matter what. You don't need a uniform to have honor. You need to have pride in yourself to carry your dignity with you like armor. That's how you stay hard. But before you can fix what's broken, you got to accept it. A lot of folks walk around pretending they're good, telling themselves they're fine, but deep down they know they're full of shit. You got to accept where you're at before you can start the journey to where you want to be. And that's where most people fuck up. They never start the journey because they're too busy living a fake ass life, pretending to be something they're not. You can't begin the journey until you fix the real issues, until you stop caring about how others are judging you. When you let others' judgments control you, you're stuck no forward momentum, just spinning your wheels in the same damn spot. Now, some might say, don't you think you can go too far the other way? Don't you think you might get cold if you don't care what anyone thinks? And here's the truth, you got to understand what not caring really means. If your fiance or your kids don't believe in you, you can't give a damn about what they think. That's when you know you've chosen the wrong support system. Your support system has to be solid. And if they're not backing you up, you got to question why. Are they doubting you because of their own fears, their own insecurities? If that's the case, you need to move forward without them. Every day we see people getting judged on TV for their fuck-ups. Yeah, they made mistakes, but the people judging them, I guarantee they're just relieved their own dirty laundry didn't come out. That's how it is. So if you want to sit there and judge me for the shit I've been through, for how messed up my life was, go ahead. Merry fucking Christmas. But here's what you don't get. I'm smiling right now because I know you've got your own secrets, your own messes that you're hiding. There's power in that, power in being able to stand up and say, this is me, flaws and all, judge away because I don't give a damn. And there's even more power in putting your shit out there, in being willing to say, yeah, I'm jacked up, I've made mistakes, but I'm not afraid anymore. When you do that, when you're honest about who you are and where you've been, that weight you've been carrying around starts to lift. It's like a boulder rolling off your back, freeing you up to be your true self. That's why I do it. Why I'm willing to share my story, my fuck-ups, my struggles. I'm tired of being afraid, tired of hiding, tired of lying to myself about who I really am. And the moment I stopped caring about what others thought, the moment I accepted my truth, that's when my real journey began. I used to be that dude who'd bend over backwards just to get people to like me. I changed who I was, what I liked, and how I acted just to fit in. If you were into something, even if I didn't give a damn about it, I pretend like I was all about it just to stay in your good graces. But let me tell you something, fuck that noise. You gotta stop giving a damn about what people think and be unapologetically you. Get after it. Be that hard motherfucker who doesn't need validation from anyone. You got to make yourself better than what you think you are. And that means people not getting you, not understanding you, and maybe even thinking you've lost your damn mind. But don't worry about that shit. Be unapologetic, stay hard, and be who the fuck you really are. My circle is small as hell, and that's by design. I don't want a bunch of yes men around me, patting me on the back for every little thing. I don't need someone to stroke my ego just because I managed to roll out of bed in the morning. Hell no, I need people who are going to be straight with me, who tell me when I'm fucking up, and who hold me accountable. The folks in my corner are the ones who call me out when I'm being a dumbass, or when I'm not getting after it. Those are the kind of people you need, honest, real, and not afraid to tell you the hard truth. Don't go around handpicking people who are just going to kiss your ass. That's not what you need, and it's not going to help you get better. The most important step you'll ever take in life is the next one. But too many of us get stuck like our feet are buried in concrete because we're afraid to make enemies. Here's the truth, haters are a part of life. You can't avoid them, so you might as well embrace them. If you somehow manage to walk on water, you'd still have people saying, yeah, but that's only because you can't swim, shut that noise out. Embrace the fact that not everyone is going to like you. It's proof you're doing something right. Stay hard, stay in the fight. I don't respect a lot of people. How can I respect someone who isn't out there grinding every damn day? And I'm not just talking about hitting the gym. I mean, really putting in the work in every aspect of their life. If you're not out there pushing yourself, I don't give a damn about what you have to say. Respect is earned through hard work. Period. If you're busting your ass every day, then you got my attention. But if all you do is run your mouth and pretend like you're something you're not, I see right through that bullshit. Talk is cheap, but the grind is real. To gain respect, you have to face the real you. The real me? I'm David Goggins. I'm the guy standing here telling you I don't even want to be on this show right now because deep down, I'm still that kid who used to stutter, and I'm afraid I might start stammering again. I'm afraid the whole world's going to see my flaws, my issues, and judge me for it. But that's when Goggins steps in. Goggins is the part of me that says, David, you're a punk if you let fear control you. Life didn't make you this way so you could back down now. You can't live in fear. You can't live in judgment. And you sure as hell can't be worried about what people are thinking. That's Goggins. That's the mindset you need to adopt if you want to push past your limits and become the person you were meant to be. Get after it, stay hard, and don't let anyone or anything stand in your way. Goggins ain't here to play nice or make friends. He's saying, fuck all of you who don't like me, who don't get it, who ain't willing to put in the work, but before you can let Goggins take over, you got to face the raw, ugly truth of who you really are. You got to be David Goggins and own every fucked up part of yourself. You got to say, I'm scared as hell. I'm broken. Life has beaten me down. I stutter when I speak. I struggle with reading and writing. I'm out of shape and I'm insecure as fuck. You got to face that shit head on in that dark room where there's no one else but you and your demons. But it's in that dark room where the real work begins. That's where you have to build someone stronger. Someone who's going to walk out of that darkness and face the world without a damn bit of fear. That's the only way you're going to conquer your weaknesses. You got to create someone else, not like you're split in two, but like you're cracking open a new version of yourself. You got to see it like you're putting on that Superman cape, transforming into a version of yourself that doesn't give a fuck about anything. That's Goggins. That's the mindset you need to unleash if you want to break free from all the shit that's holding you back. It's still you, but it's the version of you that's been forged in the fire, who's ready to take on the world without hesitation, without fear. You got to find that strength, pull that Goggins out of you and let him take the lead. Because that's the only way you're going to overcome the bullshit and rise to the top. Stay hard. Now, the cookie jar ain't just some sweet ass childhood memory. I created that shit as a survival tool. You see, just like your mom's cookie jar, you never know what you're going to find in there. Maybe an Oreo, maybe a Chips Ahoy, or maybe a Chips Ahoy, or maybe some oatmeal raisin bullshit. But my cookie jar is filled with every single fucking failure and success I've ever faced in my life. Every time I overcame something that seemed impossible, that shit went in the jar. Because here's the truth, even the hardest motherfuckers out there forget how tough they really are when they're deep in the trenches of suffering. That's what suffering does. It's a test, man, a straight up challenge to see what you're really made of. And most of us forget who we are in those moments. We forget the grind, the pain, the victories. That's when the cookie jar comes into play. It travels with me in my brain, always there, ready to remind me of who the fuck I really am. When I'm on the edge, when I'm ready to throw in the towel, when I got that woe is me mentality creeping in, I take a step back. Just for 1 second, I dip into that jar and pull out a reminder, oh shit. Remember that time you were in hell week and you didn't just survive, you fucking thrived? Remember when a guy died out there and you kept pushing? That's who you are, motherfucker. I put that cookie back in the jar and suddenly I'm not that scared, insecure kid anymore. I'm not the guy who got his ass handed to him. I'm reminded of the savage that I am at my core. Self-talk and visualization, that's how I fucking win. I remember during my last 19 miles of that brutal race, I convinced myself I was indestructible. My body was broken, cramping, pissing blood, shin splits, stress fractures. But instead of letting that shit break me, I used it. I sat in that chair feeling every ounce of pain. And I told myself, who the fuck on this planet would still be going right now? You are. You got to be the hardest motherfucker out here. Now, is that true? Who gives a fuck? At that moment, I believed it so deeply that my body had no choice but to keep going. I used every ounce of negativity, every reason to quit, and flipped it into pure, uncut motivation. That urge to quit. Every champion, every president, every king, every lion, every fucking warrior has felt it. But they also know that the real battle isn't in the quit, it's in pushing past that urge, reaching into their own cookie jar and remembering who the fuck they are. Stay hard. Don't you fucking dare give up on your dream. Most folks ain't successful because the minute they feel tired, they quit. But I'm here to tell you, when you feel like you're at your breaking point, that's when you dig the fuck in and keep going. Somebody came to me the other day crying like they were about to tap out. I told them straight up, don't you cry to quit. Don't you dare shed a tear just to walk away. You're already in pain. You're already hurting, so get a goddamn reward from it. Don't you lay your head down until you've earned that success. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you'll be successful. You got to want it. But not just want it, you got to be obsessed. I'm talking about a deep, burning obsession to be the baddest motherfucker that God ever put on this earth. Now, am I that? I don't give a fuck. I believe it. And that's what matters. And I'm telling you right now, once you become obsessed with something, it's okay to be unbalanced. Yeah, I said it, fuck balance. You want to be the best in the world at what you do? Then fuck balance. To reach the top, you've got to throw every last bit of energy, every ounce of strength you have into it. Obsession is what drives greatness. And when you finally reach that pinnacle, then you can worry about balance. Then you can start helping others climb their mountains by showing them what it took for you to be the best in the world. When I first walked into that Navy SEAL recruiter's office, the dude looked me dead in the eye and said, only 35 African Americans have made it through in 70 years. You know what I said to myself? What if I'm number 36? That what if is powerful. What if I can pull off a fucking miracle? What if I can become someone that no one believes I can be? Just talking about it gets my blood pumping, the hair on my arm standing up. That's the power of belief of obsession. It's about asking yourself, what if, and then being crazy enough, driven enough, obsessed enough to make it happen. We all want to be tough, but here's the problem. Most people try to find toughness in the comfort zone, in a place where they feel safe and secure. Let me tell you something, man. Straight up, you won't find toughness where you're comfortable. If you let your emotions run the show, they'll control your ass. We're all emotional beings, but if you don't learn to discipline and contain those emotions, they'll use you, chew you up, and spit you out. As a man, as you grow and mature, you got to transform yourself into a goddamn monster, but a monster that's civilized, a beast that knows when to strike and when to hold back. I'm going to be real with you. I view myself as the weakest motherfucker on this planet. That's how I started. My goal in life? To convince my own mind that I'm the hardest man alive. You see, a lot of people out there are too damn agreeable, too compassionate, and they let people walk all over them. They don't know how to stand up for themselves because they're afraid of confrontation. But you got to learn to stand your ground, because if you don't win, you lose, and losing ain't an option. You will not find toughness in a comfortable environment, period. If you're listening to this, understand one thing: you won't find it in your cozy little world. You've got to throw yourself into situations where you're drowning, where you're struggling just to keep your head above water. That's when you find out what you're really made of. When you're drowning in life and everything around you is falling apart, that's when you say, fuck it. I'm going to figure out how to fucking backstroke. I'm going to find a way to survive. Especially in the adult world, where life is a constant negotiation. You can't just be nice and expect to get by. You need to have that inner beast, that monster that knows when to say no and stand firm. Your mind, just like a neglected garden, will let weeds, negative thoughts, doubts, fears grow wild if you don't tend to it. You don't have to do a damn thing for those weeds to take over. But if you want to grow something beautiful, something extraordinary, you've got to put in the work, follow the process, and fight off those weeds every single day. When you quit, your mind shuts down and says, we're done and there's no growth, no expansion. But when you say, fuck you, I'm not quitting, even when you're suffering, drowning, broken, that's when your mind starts to expand. It says, shit, he's not giving up. We've got to figure this out. And that's when you start to tap into parts of your brain, parts of your potential that you didn't even know existed. But you can't reach that point sitting in comfort, talking about what you want to do over a nice drink. When you're deep in the shit, suffering, and you refuse to quit, you're forcing your brain to operate on a level it's never been before. And then that level becomes your new normal. The thing is, you don't have to force yourself to think negatively, to feel down, to hate, to want revenge, or to beat yourself up. Your mind will do that on its own. It's wired for it. But if you can harness that, if you can take control and push through, that's when you start to become the person you were meant to be. The mind is a powerful tool, but only if you learn to use it, not let it use you. If you want to step into your own greatness, if you want to live a life that's truly happy, successful, and healthy, then you've got to be ready to go to war with yourself every fucking day. You've got to be willing to say, fuck the tide, I'm in control here. You don't let the setbacks break you. You don't let the pain destroy you. You take that shit head on and say, I'm coming back and I'm going to be a badass because of it. You've got to make a fucking stand. This is about what you believe in, what you're willing to fight for. You're standing up for your dreams, for your peace of mind, for your health. You want it? Then you go after it like your life depends on it, because it does. It's not going to be easy. Change isn't easy. If it were, every lazy motherfucker would do it. But if you're serious, if you really want it, you'll go all out, no excuses. You want to control your mind? Then you better start mastering those emotions. Emotional people get controlled by their own damn feelings. They let one little thing throw them off and suddenly their whole world is falling apart. They could have everything going for them, but they'll focus on that one thing they don't have and it'll ruin everything. That's what emotions do. They drag you down into that pit of self-pity and negativity. And your mind, it loves that shit. It loves to wallow, loves to complain, loves to play the victim. But what does that get you? Nothing. You can spend your whole life bitching about the same damn thing and never move an inch. So what have you done? Not a damn thing. Most people live in that state whining about how the other guy got the raise, how someone else has it better. But what does that accomplish? Nothing. It's a waste of your fucking time. We've all got scars, some you can see, some you can't. The ones on your body tell a story, but it's those scars in your mind that you try to hide that control your life. Bad childhood? Bad adulthood? Who gives a shit? Those scars are proof that your past is real, but they don't get to define the rest of your life. It's time to fight back, to get back on that log and not let those scars dictate who you are. Sometimes you've got to fight pain with more pain. Stay hard. You've only got so much energy in your life, only so much focus, only so much time to decide who the fuck you're gonna be and what you're gonna do. And if you're spending that energy being a victim, thinking there's some kind of gold medal for having the saddest, most fucked up story, then you're wasting every bit of potential you've got. You've got no room to move forward, no room for dreams, no room for the grit and grind it takes to turn those dreams into reality, because your mind is so damn full of the bad shit that's already happened to you. You've got zero chance of moving forward if you keep that up. But here's the thing, all the energy, all the fuel you need, it's already in you. It's all right there. I found mine buried deep within my own insecurities. And that's where the real power is. When you can dig into your doubts, your fears, and your insecurities and find your drive there, you become unstoppable. There's nothing more powerful than turning your own weaknesses into your greatest strengths. The decisions you make now are on you. You're crying about shit that happened to you when you were a kid, but you're not a kid anymore. You're a grown-ass man. Take full ownership of your life. The stupid shit you're doing now, that's on you. You want to keep playing video games instead of working on your dreams? Man the fuck up. Stop crying. Most of this generation quits the second someone gets in their face, the moment they hear you did this wrong or when they get yelled at. But here's the thing, it's so damn easy to be great nowadays because most people are soft. They crumble under pressure. This is a weakened generation. So if you have any mental toughness, any self-discipline, if you can push through even when you don't want to, you're already ahead of the game. People don't get it when I say this, but I fucking hate running. I hate it. People ask me, why do you run if you hate it so much? And I tell them, it's not about running, it's about building mental toughness. When I hated school, I didn't do shit. And I was dumb as fuck because of it. But if you can push through the things you hate doing, on the other side of that is greatness. So many times I'm battling in my mind between thoughts of faith and thoughts of fear. What I've learned is that the mind is a battlefield, and most of life's battles are won or lost in your head. That's what people don't understand. When I run, I'm not training for a race, I'm training for life, man. I'm callousing my mind, making it tough as nails for when life throws its worst at me. I'm not just training my body, I'm training my spirit so that when I get that call at 2 a.m. saying something tragic has happened, I don't fall apart. Life is going to throw a lot at you. And if you're not mentally and physically prepared for it, you're going to crumble. And when you crumble, you're good for nobody. We're living in a fucked up culture where playing the victim is celebrated like it's some kind of achievement. The hard shit, the bad shit, all the unfortunate shit that's happened to you is put on a pedestal. People out here, the ones, they'll pat you on the back and say, oh, it's okay. You're so brave, you're so strong. And yeah, maybe you are, but here's the brutal truth, that shit is going to hold you back from getting the life you really want. You see, when you start soaking up all that sympathy, all that virtue signaling, it feels good, right? It's comforting, but it's a fucking trap. It keeps you looking backward, stuck in the past, replaying all the shit that's gone wrong. And as long as you're doing that, you're never going to move forward. You can either focus on what's ahead of you, or you can keep wallowing in what's behind you, but you can't do both at the same damn time. So man, ask yourself, do you want to be stuck in this loop, or do you want to break free and get after the life you deserve? You've got to make a choice. Looking back might get you some sympathy, but looking forward is what gets you results. It's time to stop feeding into that victim mentality, stop soaking up all that bullshit comfort, and start focusing on what you're going to do next, no matter how fucking hard it gets. The biggest thing you've got to do is shut off all that damn technology. You've got to go dark. And when I say go dark, I mean you need to silence all the noise in your head, cut off the distractions, and get away from people. We love being around people, love talking, love the parties, the socializing, all that bullshit. But here's the truth you've got to learn to be alone. It's okay to be by yourself. Hell, it's even okay to be unhappy sometimes. That's right, it's okay to feel fucked up. But the first step, the most important step, is facing the truth. Who are you? Not who you pretend to be, not who others think you are, but who the fuck are you really? You've got to get brutally honest with yourself and dig deep into that dark place in your mind. It might take months, it might take years, but you've got to figure out your purpose, figure out what you really want in life. No one's going to do it for you. This is your journey, and it's going to be a long, hard road. But once you find that truth, you've got to move on. And when I say move on, I mean really move the fuck on. Forget about the people who've lied to you, the ones who've betrayed your trust. They're untrustworthy, and they don't deserve to take up space in your mind. Man, I know it's not always easy, especially if they somehow woven themselves into your life like a divorce where kids are involved. But even in those situations, you've got to learn to mentally and emotionally detach from that person, man. It's hard as hell, but it's necessary. I've got to be honest with you, this shit isn't easy for me either. I'm an introvert to the core. Even being on this show right now has me shaking. But you know how you deal with it? You face it. Every damn day you face that fear, that discomfort head on. If you're fat and you want to lose weight, you've got to be patient. You've got to accept where you are right now. Maybe you're fat and you don't like yourself. That's okay, but if you lose even 3 or 4 pounds, that's a huge accomplishment. You've got to live in your own world, not judge yourself by some bullshit standards set by others. This is why social media is so toxic. It sets up this fake competition in our minds, how people look, how smart they seem, how successful they are. But let me tell you something, this race you're running it alone. No one else's progress matters. It's just you versus you. And when it comes to the people who've let you down, you've got to accept that they're not who you thought they were. That idea you had of them being trustworthy, faithful, a true companion, that was all in your head. They've proven by their actions that they're not that person. They never were. So get over it. Move on. If you're alone, that's when the real work begins. I used to have sticky notes all over my mirror, reminding myself of my goals. But those goals weren't about being better than someone else or comparing myself to others. They were about beating the David I was yesterday. I set year goals, weekly goals, daily goals, even hourly goals. And the biggest ones were about changing the lies I told myself. I used to lie a lot growing up because I wanted to be accepted. So one of my goals was to go just one day without lying. It's all about accountability, facing the truth, and pushing yourself every day. This journey isn't about anyone else, man. It's about you, man, your goals and your commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. No excuses, no bullshit. Just the hard, unfiltered truth. Get after it. Be thankful you learned the truth before you wasted even more time on someone who wasn't worth a damn. Be thankful you figured out that this person was a liar, unfaithful, and untrustworthy before you got in too deep. You found out now instead of later, and that's a blessing whether you see it or not. You know what else? It's going to be a hell of a lot easier to move on when you realize there are plenty of people out there who are trustworthy, who are faithful, who are genuinely good. They exist, but you've got to go out and find them. Now, let me tell you something about total accountability. This morning, before I even sat down to talk to you, I had to run. Why? Because I'm about mind, body, and fitness. I'm not just here to talk shit about changing your life, I'm living it, man. Are you really accountable for what you say and do? Are you holding yourself to the highest standard? Because I am. It starts with that total, brutal accountability. It starts with deciding today I'm not going to lie to myself or anyone else. When someone betrays your trust, it shakes you to your core. You start questioning yourself, thinking maybe I'm a shitty judge of character. I trusted this person and look how they screwed me over. But here's the thing, you've got to rebuild that trust in yourself. How do you do that? You read, you write, you learn, you work out, you spend time alone. Being alone is not something to fear. So many people freak out at the thought of being by themselves, but it's okay to be alone. Hell, it's more than okay, it's necessary. You've got to learn to enjoy it. Use that time to be productive, to work on yourself. Stop relying on people to validate you or to make you feel worthy. What they do or don't do has zero impact on your value. They can't stop your purpose, man, and they sure as hell can't determine your worth. God put life in you, and He gave you favor. So stop waiting for others to approve of you and start approving of yourself. Maybe no one's going to encourage you, so what? You can encourage yourself. Maybe no one's going to make you feel special, so what? You can make yourself feel special. When you're digging yourself out of the deep hole that life, society, and let's face it, you help create. Those people you met down there, the ones you thought were your friends, are going to try to pull you back down. They're stuck in that same shitty situation and they don't want to see you rise above it. They'll grab at your heels, try to drag you back saying, who the hell do you think you are? You think you're better than us. That's what I deal with all the time. People love to remind me of who I used to be, and they always come out of the woodwork to do it. But here's the thing, you've got to understand what it means to not give a fuck. You've got to stop caring about their opinions, about their attempts to drag you down. You've got to be relentless in your pursuit of a better life. And that means cutting off anyone who tries to pull you back into that hole. This journey is yours, man, and yours alone. Don't let anyone hold you back. A lot of people don't get this. Your support staff has got to be solid. If you want to go out and crush something, whatever it is, your fiance should be the one saying, hell yeah, go get it. I don't think you should be doing that if she's saying no because of her own fears or insecurities. That's not the kind of backing you need. You need open-mindedness, real support. Someone who's in your corner no matter what. So you've got to be crystal clear about who's in your circle and what they bring to the table. Most people comfortable with you being the old you, the one who wasn't worth a damn. And those same people, the ones who've been stuck in the same place for 10, 20 years, they're the ones who'll drag you down, trying to pull you back to where they are. The hardest part is seeing who you're surrounding yourself with. You got to hang with the people who push you to be better, not the ones who pull you down. People will suck the fucking life out of you if you let them. If you're hanging around with people who make excuses, who fail constantly, they'll drain you. They're like a vacuum, sucking out every bit of inspiration and energy you've got. Why are you doing that today? Why are you getting up so early? Why are you putting in all this work? They question everything you do, trying to bring you down to their level. And sometimes you just got to be alone, man. You got to shut out all that noise and get your shit together on your own. And then there are those who are always fucking up, always failing, and then coming to you for help. They're a burden, never looking in the mirror, never getting their own shit together. They're always searching for external help, always caught up in a storm of their own making. But you got to understand, all the answers are inside of you, man. That's why my circle is tight. I handpick the people around me, not to pat me on the back, but to keep it real with me. You don't want people in your corner who are just going to kiss your ass. You need people who are honest and truthful, who've lived through their own shit and come out the other side stronger. That's who you want in your court. Someone who's going to say, hey man, you're being fucking dumb right now. This isn't smart. Or you're slacking off today. You're not getting after it. Those are the people you need. But most folks, they surround themselves with people who make them feel good, who tell them what they want to hear. The second they're around someone who's uncommon, who's pushing them to be better, they don't like that feeling. They don't like the guy who's up at 3 a.m, telling them to get their shit on and go for a run. They want the one who says, it's okay, man. Take the day off, grab a pizza, and watch the game. We love that comfort. It makes us feel good, makes us feel understood. But that shit doesn't make you better. It keeps you average. You need that voice in your life saying, get your shit on, stop being a punk, and let's go. You don't want to be the best among average people. That's mediocrity. And mediocrity is the death of greatness. I don't give a damn how amazing they seem, how much you're drawn to them, or what they did for you way back when. It doesn't matter if they were there for you 20 years ago, if they helped you out of a tough spot, or if you had something real with them. When people decide to walk away from you, let them go. Don't chase after them. Don't beg them to stay. Don't even try to convince them otherwise. Because here's the truth, your destiny isn't tied to the person who left, man. They weren't meant to go where you're going. Your path, your purpose, the greatness you're striving for, it's not connected to those who can't see it or don't want to be a part of it. Let them fucking walk. If they can leave, it means they were never fully in it with you. And that's fine. It's better to know now than to carry fucking dead weight. Man, life without truth is straight up hell because you're living in a false reality and there's no solid ground under your feet. You can't be scared to die for the truth because it's the only thing that's ever going to stay constant. Everything else in life can shift, change, and disappear, but the truth. That's the bedrock. That's where you start building from. Now, if I'm lying to you, or worse, lying to myself about who I am, there's no starting point. I'm just floating in a false reality, pretending to be something I'm not. That's why I talk about the accountability mirror in my book. That mirror doesn't lie, man. It shows you exactly where you are. You've got to stand in front of that mirror and ask yourself, where the fuck am I really starting from for me? I was bullshitting myself, lying about this, lying about that, so I had nowhere real to begin. I was stuck in this fake world I created. But once you come face to face with who you actually are, that's your starting point. You look in that mirror and admit, all right, I'm not smart. I'm not brave. I've got no self-esteem. I'm scared as hell. And I'm weak as fuck. That's where you begin. That's the brutal, unfiltered truth you need to tell yourself. But if you're out there lying to yourself saying, I'm strong, I'm courageous, I've got this, when deep down, you know it's all bullshit. You're just pushing that starting point further and further back. You're running from the truth, and all you're doing is delaying the real work. The truth is your starting line. And if you keep moving it back with lies, you'll never get off the blocks. There's power in standing up and saying, here's the truth. Here's who I really am. When you can sit on a podcast or hell in front of anyone and say, ask me anything. I don't give a shit. I'll tell you the whole truth. You take back the power. You're no longer scared. You're not hiding anymore. You're putting your life on a billboard for the whole world to see. And you're saying, go ahead, judge me. I don't care. Just talking about it makes you feel lighter. Like that massive rock you've been carrying starts to chip away and fall off. That's why I'm always out here saying, I'll tell you anything you want to know. No more fear, no more hiding. I'm tired of lying about how strong I'm not. I'm tired of pretending. And you know what? We never learn anything from each other. If we're all out here tap dancing around the truth, we're too busy finding the right words so we don't hurt each other's feelings, worried about thin skin. Fuck that. The truth might sting, but it's the only way forward. It's the only way to grow. And it's the only way to get real. It's okay, man. Trust me, it's okay. You might get called an NA one day. You might get hit with some anti-Semitic bullshit, or they might throw some homophobic slurs your way. It's okay. Let them run their mouths. What the fuck are you gonna do now? They don't own you. How you gonna flip that shit? How you gonna grab the hate and use it to fuel your fire so one day those same motherfuckers read about you in history books? Man, once you conquer the person staring back at you in the mirror, you've already won. But here's the problem: most people are surrounded by yes men who ain't got the balls to tell them the truth. Nah, cause it's too fucking painful. We live in this soft ass society where we want to hear, it's okay. Well, guess what? It ain't fucking okay. It ain't okay to settle. And I get it, man. I really do. We all want to feel loved, accepted, wanted. That shit is important, no doubt. But you got to have someone in your corner who ain't afraid to say, yo, you're not working hard enough. You're not pushing yourself. You're slacking first. You got to accept that shit. Own it. Because if you keep walking around like, I'm good when you're really not, you're never going to fix what's broken. You got to face it, fix it. Then and only then can you start the real journey. A lot of people never even get on that path, man. They're too busy living in this fake ass world, acting like there's something they're not caused. They're too scared to confront their demons. But you got to fix your shit first, then your journey can begin. Cause when you stop giving a damn about how people judge you, you start to move forward. But if you're stuck worrying about what some motherfucker thinks, you're going to stay stuck in place. And let's be real, we all got that easy voice in our heads telling us you're doing great, you're at 90%, hell, maybe even 100%. That's the voice of comfort. The voice that's like your mama holding you, telling you everything's gonna be all right. That voice don't care how messed up you are. It just loves you as you are. But that voice is a fucking trap, man. It's the one that keeps you from pushing harder, from reaching that next level. It's the voice that keeps you in that soft, safe space where you never grow. And if you stay there, you ain't ever gonna be shit. There's this other voice that we all try to run from, the one that's whispering in your ear, hey man, you ain't doing shit. We push that voice down, drown it out with distractions, and live in this comfortable ass bubble where everything feels just fine. But let me tell you something, man. If you want to grow, if you want to become something more than the weak ass version of yourself, you got to turn the volume up on that voice. Yeah, the one that ain't nice, the one that tells you the brutal fucking truth, you ain't doing shit. I had to get real with myself. Every damn day I'd come home and face what I call the accountability mirror. I'd look at myself and ask, what the fuck am I going to do today to change what I see in this mirror? What am I going to do? I had to stop seeking validation from the so-called cool guys. I stopped trying to fit in. I took off the mask, quit hiding, and started owning who the hell I was. I go to school like this is me. If you don't like it, fuck it. I had to build up this thick, callous skin, a shield to take whatever shit people threw at me. But through all that, I knew one thing: I had to change who I wasn't. That accountability became my lifeline. If I got fat, I called myself fat cause that's what the hell I was. No sugarcoating, no bullshit. And you know what? People don't want to do that. They want to tiptoe around the truth. Oh, don't call yourself fat. Don't call yourself dumb. Nah, man. If you ain't real and raw with who the fuck you are, ain't nothing gonna change. In this soft ass world we live in, everyone wants to hear you're just a little big knob, man. You might be fucking fat. And it's okay to hear that from yourself. Matter of fact, it's necessary. That's where it all starts. And yeah, it's raw. It gets ugly as hell when I stand in front of that mirror. But I'm proud as fuck that I can tell myself the hard truths and then go out and fix what's staring back at me. Now, don't get it twisted. This ain't about putting yourself down. People get that shit all wrong. I'm talking about listening to the truth, embracing it, and using it as a weapon to fuel your growth. The truth ain't in that 20% of comfort. The truth lives in that dark, uncomfortable part of your brain that's screaming, you're wasting your potential. You've got 80% more in the tank, but you're too scared to tap into it because that 80% is filled with suffering, pain, and failure. Self-doubt, darkness. But guess what? There's also a whole lot of light on the other side. But to get to that light, you got to go through all that hard, ugly shit first. We all know that deep down. We know we could get to that light, but we choose to stay in the comfort zone because the journey from 20% to 100% is a motherfucker. It's not fun. It's painful. So we stay stuck in that 20% where it's easy, where it's safe. People ask me all the time, how do you do it? You know exactly how to do it. It ain't no magic trick. It's about going back to a primitive mindset where you just fucking do it. No excuses, no shortcuts. You just do. Life's got to be like breathing. You do it without even thinking. It's automatic. That's how you need to live your life if you want to get anywhere worth going. When that alarm clock hits at 4 or 5 in the morning and your mind says, hell no, you don't even entertain that bullshit. You just get up and say, this is what we do now. That's the mindset you need to adopt. No hesitation, no negotiation. Because to get to where you want to be, the pain involved isn't always physical. Nah, the real pain is mental, the grind of doing shit you don't want to do over and over again, because that's what it takes. That's your new norm. That's how you need to operate, like it's second nature, like breathing. You might hate that lifestyle, but if you want to reach the other side, you got to embrace it. You got to understand what trying really means and what it doesn't. I'm even shaking right now talking about this. I'm a big time introvert, but you know how I handle that? I face it every damn day. If you're fat, face it. If you're out of shape, face it. You got to be patient. Accept who you are right now. Don't sugarcoat it. If you're fat, admit it. I'm fat. I don't like myself. That's where change starts. If you lose 3 or 4 pounds, that's a huge win. Celebrate that, but stay in your own lane. Don't get caught up in comparing yourself to everyone else. Social media, all that shit is poison. It makes you judge yourself against some fake ass competition that only exists in your mind. This race you're running is you against you. Nobody else matters. I had sticky notes plastered all over my mirror, not with bullshit like be better than John or run faster than so-and-so. Nah, it was like, David, yesterday you did this. Today you're going to do better. I had year goals, weekly goals, daily goals, even hourly goals. And I was real with myself. I lied a lot growing up because I wanted to fit in. But one of my goals was, let's go one day without lying. Just one day. And if I fucked up and lied, I made myself go back and own it. I'd say, hey man, I lied to you. I was wrong. Do you know how hard it is to go back to someone and admit you lied? That's real accountability. And that's where my journey started. Before I got on this call today, I ran this morning. Why? Because that's who the fuck I am. Mind, body, fitness, it's not just talk, it's action. There's a lot of folks out there who talk big, saying they're going to change your life, but are they really holding themselves accountable? Are they living what they preach? I am to the fucking T. That's where it begins with total accountability. I started by saying, let's not lie today. A lot of people are comfortable with lying to themselves, man. They look in the mirror and are okay with being afraid, okay with taking the easy road. The easy road's got all these damn signs and directions showing you the way, but it's a trap. You got to be uncomfortable with how you feel about yourself if you ever want to change. You got to face the real you. That's where it all begins. The real me? That's David Goggins, the motherfucker standing right here in front of you saying, I don't even want to be on this damn show right now. Why? Because when I was a kid, I used to stutter. I was that scared little boy who could barely get a sentence out without tripping over his own words. And now I'm standing here terrified that any second I'm going to start stammering, start stuttering, and the whole fucking world is going to see my flaws, my issues, all the shit I've carried with me. But you know what? That's exactly why I'm here. Because Goggins ain't about running from that shit. Goggins says, okay, David Goggins, you're a punk right now. Life tried to break you, but we ain't living like this. We can't live in fear. We can't live worrying about what the fuck people are thinking when they look at us. That's Goggins talking. Goggins is the one who steps up and says, to all you haters, all you doubters, I'm still here. But before you get to Goggins, you got to face the David Goggins part of you. The part that scares shitless, the part that says, I'm afraid. Life's beating me down. I stutter. I struggle with reading and writing. I'm fat, insecure, and full of doubt. You got to face all that in the darkest room of your soul. That dark room, that's where you come face to face with who you really are. But it's also where you have to create someone new, someone stronger, someone who can walk out of that darkness and stand up to all that shit. It's not about having split personalities. It's about building a version of yourself that can handle the pain, the fear, the judgment. It's about cracking open that inner strength. Like you're pulling on a Superman cape and transforming into a new beast, a beast that doesn't give a fuck about anything. A beast that says, yeah, I'm weak. Yeah, I'm afraid. But guess what? I'm still here. Whatever you think about me, say it. It doesn't matter because I'm right here and I ain't going nowhere. That's Goggins. That's the side of you that doesn't give a shit about being judged, doesn't give a shit about failing or looking weak. It's the side that knows you're flawed, but still shows up, still fights, still pushes forward. It's about turning every insecurity, every weakness into fuel. Goggins is that relentless motherfucker who says, whatever you throw at me, I'll take it and I'll turn it into something unstoppable. That's the mindset you need to conquer life, to face your fears and to become the person you were always meant to be. Anybody, not just Navy SEALs, but anybody who's got the balls to take on something hard, the only thing that sets them apart is that they're willing to do whatever it takes to be there. It ain't about talent. It ain't about luck. It's about wanting that shit so bad that nothing else matters. For me, back in the day, the only way out was death. And if that's what it took, then so be it. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, you'll find a way to make it happen. That's the fucking truth. When I started Navy SEAL training, I was already fucked up, stress fractures, broken down. That shit is hard enough to finish when you're at your best, let alone when you're falling apart. Every damn morning, I'd wake up, grab some duct tape and wrap it from my forefoot all the way up to the middle of my calf. I ran like that without pivoting my foot, every step shooting pain through my body. But you know what kept me going? The thought that this broken ass kid was in the hardest training in the world, surrounded by gladiators, by stallions, and what if I could graduate with them? All those guys around me were strong, healthy, and here I was, the weakest motherfucker in the group. But I thought, if I could start the hardest training in the world in this fucked up state and still come out on top, then I wouldn't just be another SEAL, I'd be the hardest man to ever live. That's the kind of shit that motivated me. I made a promise to myself, I will not be outworked, period. You might be more talented, smarter, better looking, you might have me beat in every category. But if we're on that treadmill together, there's only two outcomes you're getting off first. Or I'm gonna die. It's really that simple. You're damn lucky you don't have to think like warriors think. Most of why I live cushy ass lives and you don't even realize it. You're privileged, straight up. See, I chose this path. I chose to walk into the fire and become a warrior. But let me tell you, the mentality of a warrior is on a whole different level. It's not for the faint of heart. You gotta be that person standing at the door, about to breach it, thinking to yourself, if I die, so be it. That's the only way you can step through that door, knowing full well there's a damn good chance you're not coming back out. But guess what? You go in anyway, because when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you'll be successful. And when you get to the point where you want success as bad as you want that next breath, then and only then will you find that success. Because those who make it, those who truly rise above, are the ones who've been there a million times in their minds. They've lived in that dark place. They've suffered. They've felt their legs break, their knees buckle, their bones ache. They've been the coldest they've ever been in their lives, and they've accepted it. They didn't run from it. They embraced it. And when you do that, when you fucking own that pain, something incredible happens. 3 months later, my stress fractures healed from running on them. Why? Because when the mind and the body connect, and you don't give yourself a way out, the only way out becomes the way forward. The only exit for me at that time was death. I made a decision, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL, or I'm going to die trying, period. No plan B, no fallback, no safety net. My body heard that message loud and clear and it said, Roger that. We're getting through this. If you're in a fight, you got to attack with everything you've got. No hesitation. No second guessing, just pure relentless aggression, man. You got to keep coming, keep pushing, keep smashing through whatever the hell is in front of you. The enemy needs to know that you ain't going to stop. That you're not just here to fight, you're here to win. You got to break the soul of whatever is standing in your way. That's what I had to realize, man. I wasn't breaking the soul of anything in front of me. And that's when I came up with this concept in my book called Taking Souls. Taking Souls ain't just about beating someone, it's about ripping apart their will to keep going. I started thinking of ways to crush the soul of whatever obstacle was in my path, be it human, a challenge, or life itself. If you keep attacking something relentlessly, guess what? Nothing wants to stand in front of that. Nothing can withstand that kind of pressure. And let me tell you something, most of why I'll talk a big game about wanting to be successful. But the truth is, you don't want it bad enough. You just kind of want it. You want success, but you also want to party. You want to look cool. You want to sleep. Hell, some of why all love sleep more than you love success. But here's the truth. If you really want to be successful, you got to be willing to give up sleep. You got to be ready to sacrifice everything. When I was trying to become a Navy SEAL, I was still over 200 pounds. still had weight to lose, but I put everything on the line. It's like going to the craps table with your last $1,000 and saying, fuck it, I'm all in. If I win big. If I lose, I'm done. I bet my whole life a life that was terrified of the water, a life that had to teach itself how to read and write on becoming one of the hardest motherfuckers on the planet. Think about that. A guy who came from nothing, who had every reason to quit, every excuse in the book, and I still put it all on the line. Fear is the biggest roadblock to success, man. It's what keeps you stuck, what keeps you making excuses. But here's the thing, fear lives in one place and one place only, in your mind. You got to evict that shit. Don't let fear hold you back. Stay hard. You got to approach whatever the hell you're doing like your life depends on it. Whether you're trying to be an author, working a 9 to 5, juggling family responsibilities, whatever it is, you got to attack it like you're trying to save your own life, like you're drowning. And that 1 hour you have to write or work or train is the only thing keeping you alive. You better be caffeinated, motivated, and ready to fuck shit up. Most people don't have that kind of discipline. Most people don't know what it means to really go after something with everything they've got. But if you don't, the consequences are fucking brutal. If you really want to be successful, sometimes you got to stay up 3 days straight. You might have to skip sleep, because if you close your eyes, you could miss that one opportunity that changes everything. That's how bad you got to want it, man. You got to be willing to go days without food, without rest. You got to want success so bad that you forget to eat. Forget everything else. No sugarcoating, no bullshit. The reason you keep stopping, the reason you're not pushing through, is because you're fucking lazy. Yeah, I said it. You're lazy. Plain and simple. You're okay with getting those shitty grades in school. It doesn't eat at you. Doesn't keep you up at night that you're just mediocre. Just average. Just another face in the crowd. You're fine sitting on your ass, watching other people do great things while you do nothing. You don't mind it. And that's the problem. Here's the brutal truth, man. You don't care enough about yourself. You don't value your own potential enough to stay in the fight. That's why you quit, why you settle for less. You ain't got that fire, that drive to push through the pain, the boredom, the struggle. And until you start giving a damn about yourself, until you start demanding more from yourself, you're always going to be stuck in the same place. So here's your wake-up call for you, man. Stop being soft, stop being lazy, and start caring about your own damn life. Stay in the fight. Stay hard. Man, if you want to level up, you've got to cut the toxic dead weight out of your life. I'm talking about those people you hang around with who do nothing but drag your ass down. These energy vampires, get rid of them. They'll suck the fucking life out of you before you even know it. You got to surround yourself with people who are on the same mission as you. People who lift you up, who push you to be better. Yeah, the wrong people will pull you down into their bullshit. Look around at who you spend your time with, and if they're not pushing you towards your goals, then you need to walk the fuck away. Reaching your goals takes everything you've got: emotional, mental, spiritual energy. You can't afford to waste that on people who aren't in it with you. You'll run faster with 100 people who want to go in the same direction than you will, with one toxic motherfucker clinging to your neck. Your so-called friends, the ones you think are your ride or die homies, they're probably the same ones who are going to pull you off course. Why? Because they're not on the same path as you, man. They don't have your drive, your vision, your hunger. And that's why most people stay stuck, stay mediocre. They can't cut loose to people holding them back. You've got to figure out what you want in life. And that takes some serious self-reflection. We've got so much noise around us, so many distractions, that we don't even know what the fuck we want anymore. You need to shut off the phone, the computer, the TV, and just sit with yourself, sit in that quiet room alone and think about where you want to be. What do you see for yourself tomorrow, next year, 5 years from now? It takes hardcore discipline to do that in today's world, because we're all so damn hooked on staying connected. The world's moving fast and you're trying to keep up, but in the process, you lose yourself, man. You've got to pull back, go to that dark place in your mind and discover who you really are. And yeah, sometimes that means even walking away from your own family. If they're holding you back, if they're toxic, then you've got to do what's necessary. Walking away doesn't always mean cutting ties completely, but sometimes you've got to create distance to stay on your path. Some people just aren't meant to go where you're going. Stay hard. If you're out there training to be a lifeguard, one of the first things they drill into you is how to approach someone who's drowning and losing their shit. You don't just swim up all nice and easy, hoping they'll calm the fuck down. Nah, you put your foot out, create some distance, and you push forward with your hands, and you tell them straight up, I'm here to save your ass, but you got to calm the fuck down. If they start clinging to you in a panic, you shove them away. Now, some people might think that's cruel, like what if they drown? But let me tell you something, if you let them drag you down with them, you both end up dead. That's a big ass fail right there. You're not there to join them in their misery, you're there to save them. So you say, chill the fuck out. I'll help you, but I'm not going down with you. Now, this ain't just about lifeguarding. This is life. You start looking around, judging yourself by everyone else like, oh, she's skinny, she doesn't even work out as hard as I do, or whatever the fuck it is. That shit starts to fuck with your mind. You get so caught up in comparing yourself to others that you let it corrupt your own damn dialogue. Here's the truth, we're out here judging ourselves against too many fucking people. You've got to judge yourself against yourself. That's what I figured out, man. This isn't a race between me and someone or whoever the fuck is out there. This race is between David Goggins and David Goggins alone. Once you can shut out all that noise, all that bullshit from the outside, you can start to grow. You realize I'm stressing out over nothing. This is my race. It's my timeline. And this is how I'm going to run it. Life is brutal sometimes, like surgery. It's like, yeah, we're going to cut you open and rip out a piece of your body, man. But guess what? It's necessary. Just like it's necessary to only make friends with people who want the best for you. That's a brutal truth, but it's right. If you're trying to move forward as fast as possible, you can't have anchors holding you back. You've got to cut those lines, let go of the dead weight, and replace those anchors with propellers, people who are going to push you forward, people who are loyal to who you're trying to become, who are going to hold you to a high standard. I've seen lives ruined because someone had the wrong people around them. Some people just aren't good for you. If you've got smart people in your circle giving you good advice, listen to it. But be smart about who you listen to. That's why my circle is small as fuck. You don't want people in your corner who just pat you on the back for every little thing. I don't need anyone congratulating me for just waking up in the morning. Fuck that. I want people who are honest and will tell me the brutal truth. Someone who's lived life, who's accountable, who will call me out when I'm being a fucking idiot or when I'm slacking off. That's who you need in your corner. You don't need a bunch of ass-kissing yes men in your life. Get rid of them. A lot of people put up with bullshit because they're scared of being alone. Here's my belief, the one-to-one box theory. The loudest people, the ones screaming about what you should and you shouldn't do, are usually the ones with the most fucked up lives. They're the ones with the dumpster fire of a fucking existence, but they're the loudest. And you know what? They don't know shit about living. So what the fuck should you do? We can't always eliminate those toxic motherfuckers from our lives completely. We've got social media, we've got people in our circles, but here's the deal, block the shit out of them and delete their fucking existence from your brain. You don't have to listen to their bullshit. You don't owe them a damn thing, not a response, not an ounce of your energy. But you know who you do owe something to? The people who show up for you, who actually contribute to your life, who push you to be better. Those are the ones who deserve your energy, your attention, your respect. Those are the ones you respond to. When you're living on a messed up foundation, you start lying about everything, trying to fit in, trying to be liked. You become this person who's chasing validation and you lose yourself in the process. I've been there. I was lying my ass off, trying to be accepted. And I realized I'd lost myself. Hell, I never even knew who I was to begin with. My self-esteem was in the gutter. But then I found something through working out and learning something real. I found self-esteem and that changed everything. Once I stopped giving a fuck about what people thought, stopped worrying about being judged, that's when my life started to change. It wasn't overnight, but slowly, surely things started to fall into place. A lot of people think loyalty is about sticking with someone just because you've known them for a long time. But here's the truth: as you grow, as you grind harder, those same people can start to hold you back. They bring energy that drags you down, judging you for not partying, not fucking around like you used to. They want to keep you in that old version of yourself. And that shit is dangerous. That's not loyalty, that's a fucking trap. So you got to look at the people in your life and find out what kind of person you are becoming, because if you run around with losers, you will end up a loser.